lucky for you, that's what I like, that's what I like.
Hi, I'm Kamisha Holmes.
I'm Taylor Hayes.
I'm Crystal Hayward.
I'm Amaya Henderson.
Alexis Jones.
Chris Wilson.
And we are Group 4. And here goes our neuron story. An event happens in cell A such that the neurotransmitter travels across the synapse of cell A to cell B. There are several possible outcomes as the neurotransmitters cross the space. The neurotransmitters can be taken back up into cell A on the presynaptic side. This is called reuptake. Another option is for the neurotransmitter molecule to dissipate or float away, or the neurotransmitter molecule can be metabolized through enzymatic degradation, or the neurotransmitter can bind to the postsynaptic membrane, which is located on cell B. Upon binding to the binding site, which is located on the ion trophic of cell B, the binding of the neurotransmitter causes the pore to open that is permeable to sodium. The ion will move through the pore because of two forces acting upon it, and that's osmosis and electrostatic pressure. When the binding of the neurotransmitter molecules causes the pore to open, this travels into the cell. The movement appears on the oscilloscope initially as a short burst of depolarization. Is called EPSP, which stands for excitatory postsynaptic potential. However, in the presence of many neurotransmitter molecules from the terminal buttons, there can be a summation of charge caused by the opening of many receptors permeable to the ion sodium. The summation of charge can be in the form of spatial summation or temporal summation. The accumulated charge caused by the entry of ions through the opening of the pores is like electricity that is being conducted down the dendrites and along the cell body and some together at the axon hillock. This accumulation reaches a negative 65 millivolts and is called the threshold of excitation, which is the charge necessary to open voltage-gated channels located at the axon hillock and initiates action potential.
The accumulation of charge needed to get a negative 65 millivolts is called depolarization. This results into many EPSPs added on top of each other. This voltage as a signal continues through a rising phase and a falling phase, an overshoot phase, and a return to rest phase. All because the opening of pores are permeable to two ions. The rising phase is a rapid depolarization and is associated with the movement of sodium. The rising phase stops at plus 55 millivolts, which is at the point of equilibrium for the ion to give you the answer.
At the axon hillock, the action potential is generated from rest because of summation from many EPSPs reaching the threshold of excitation. Then there's a massive influx of sodium into the cell that reaches plus 55 from minus 65 because it's so much massive depolarization. So now sodium is at equilibrium, but potassium gate is open, leaving the cell, causing hypolarization. Lastly, of the action potential is caused not by high voltage gated channels, but by specialized ions called sodium-potassium pump. Once action potential is propagated, then it moves in totality from the axon hillock to the nose of Ranvier and finally reaches the terminal button in a process which is called saltatory conduction. Once again, potential reaches the terminal button, then there is a signal for calcium to enter the cell, which causes the movement of vesicles within the presynaptic membrane.
Action potential reaches the end of the axon. Terminal calcium ions enter the cell and serve as a signal for movement of the synaptic vessels. Presynaptic membrane of cell B and merge with it in a process called exotosis and empty neurotransmitter molecules into the synapse between cell B and cell C.